CD now. Point is, they would use those 4, but there was another 4-track machine, and they would do whatever they wanted with it. So if they would listen to the almost finished version on the 4-track, and George would say, you know what, this thing needs a harpsichord. Yeah, they're going to add a harpsichord to it. They'd get out the second machine, play the first one, give the little clap sign so that the two can be synced up, start both machines, and then maybe George would play the harpsichord solo. And they'd leave it on the second machine, and when it came time to mix the stereo, they would just put them together. And so they'd play the first one, sync it with the harpsichord, and what do you know? The stereo version now has a harpsichord on it. And they did that with everything, the entire album. So really, there was no limit to the number of tracks. You could call it 8 charitably, but since they saved every last thing, in other words, they could listen to the final record on the 4-track tapes. All right, here we go. Let's listen to the 4, and if it sounds good today, we'll mix it down to stereo or mono, which really was the point of view there. You want to get into mono. So they would listen to it and say, you know what, gosh darn, it's just too slow. Ringo, why don't you add a tambourine, okay? So they'd rewind it, get the second one out, sync them up, which is much easier today. Today it's easy as pie. Back then it was a pain in the ass trying to get the two to run at exactly the same time, start the same speed. But sync them up, and they'd tell Ringo, okay, Ringo, go play tambourine now. Okay, and so he'd put 3 minutes of tambourine on the second 4-track recorder. They'd leave it there, mark it. Okay, so when we go to make the stereo, we're going to add the tambourine, we're going to add George Martin's harpsichord, anything else we should put in there. So as you can see, they really had the 4 final channels that they are so proud of, and we can hear them. We've got them here. We can play them for you if you want to hear them. So many, many Beatles fans have them. But they also had an endless ability to add extra instruments after that point, and they saved all of them. There was the order that we talked about in episode 4, where they said, hey, George Martin has ordered not 1 second of the Beatles in the studio to be erased or thrown out. Nothing. It came from above him, but he told them that we've been ordered. We are not going to anymore record over, throw out any tape of the Beatles in the studio. Every second of them recording, rehearsing, playing, arguing, if the tape recorder was running, it's still there in the vaults. So that gave them endless ability to just take all these sound effects they might have had, and Ringo's tambourine and George's harpsichord, and maybe they thought, you know what, maybe John or George could give us a nice rhythm guitar to add here to kind of pump it up. You guys come in, all right, ready? We're going to give you a stereo, give us a nice... They would go on to one of the many tracks or one of the 4 tracks on the second recorder. And when it came time to make the album, they would take the 4, hook up the George Martin harpsichord, Ringo's tambourine, the George and John. They'd put it all into a mixing board and just have 1 or 2 wires coming out of the mixing board. So you got a stereo picture or you got a monaural picture, and that's how they would do it. But it gave them endless ability, and here's the point. This DTS disc has access to that, and I don't have any idea how. I have no idea how, but in other words, the surround sound is so discreet and so well mixed that on fixing a hole, you've got a harpsichord out of the left rear. Okay, big deal. You've got 2 guitars. It turns out that horrible chunky solo, not a solo, it's more of a lick. Do, 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 do. Brilliant. it's actually two guitars, and this person separates them, one into the rear right, one into the rear left. For the first time, you can hear that that's two guitars. Then he does the same thing with and it do 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 do. I can't go down that low. But with the guitar doing that, this person has it. It's actually two guitars. So George had to double track his solo, as is common when you're not much of a guitar player, which he was not. And you would put they put it so that the one guitar is in the front right, one guitar is in the rear right. So you can hear both guitars playing that solo. It's amazing. You can hear Paul and John separate from the Paul vocal in the front, which is coming out of the center channel, because this guy doesn't care. He doesn't care if Paul doesn't like it. You can hear Paul singing in the front, and it really doesn't matter. And out of the left rear, which they don't do this on Sgt. Pepper, out of the legitimate Sgt. Pepper, sorry. Out of the left rear, you can hear George and John clearly, discreetly going, "Ooh." That sounds good. Actually sounds great. But it is a actual 5.1 recording, well worth having. Just as a point of, I don't have any copies for sale. I'm not selling. I can't send you anywhere to buy it. I can't tell you where to buy it. No, I can't make you a copy. No, it doesn't matter how much you would pay me. I can't do it. It's not something I would do. All right. After this album ends with A Day in the Life with the huge chord that this album manages to take up the entire room, the next song is Strawberry Fields Forever, of which they have a surround sound recording that can't be beat. You are immersed in the album. The sound quality is terrific. It's the same song you've heard 1 trillion times, but you're now hearing it in surround, and you're hearing it in real surround, not the garbage that came from EMI. Then next is Penny Lane. It is the standard version, does not have the added beginning or end. There's a one with a different beginning. There's one with a different end. This is just the standard one you've heard on the radio. But no, there's no trumpet at the end going. Not there. But it is in total surround sound and just lovely to listen to. And the sound is sharp, hard, fast, bright, rock and roll, in your face. All You Need Is Love follows that. And, of course, that was not on Sgt. Pepper, but it's a bonus cut. And, yes, it is in surround sound. It's in great surround sound. Next, Hello, Goodbye. Fool on the Hill. Oh, Magical Mystery Tour again. So we've got 3 cuts from Magical Mystery. Your Mother Should Know in beautiful surround sound. Lady Madonna. So now we're getting out to the Hey Jude, I think. Hey Bulldog in surround sound. Now this is the standard mix. It's the same one you've always heard. It is not made from Rock Band, so don't let anybody tell you that. And it is not going to be something that you'll ever tire of, because there is so much spread to the 5 speakers that you will just listen to this all day long. Then it has Within You, Without You, and Tomorrow Never Knows remixed to surround, which I don't listen to that. I think it's horrible. And A Day in the Life with the clean intro. So it's the same one from Sgt. Pepper, but without all of the noise. It's just got John, and I believe he counts it in on that. It's absolutely superb. I hope you'll get it. Next week, we're going to find a way to play some of the sounds from it so you can hear how absolutely discreet it is, how the rear speakers are loud, live, and very much a part of the music. And we're going to hope that that's enough to make you say, I think I'll go look for it. And I hope you find it. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe. And please click the thumbs up. And I will be speaking to you again next week, where we're going to be looking into Sergeant Pepper. What's wrong with it? Can we fix it? And where can you go right now to get a copy in surround?